What's going on, Scorpio? How are you doing? Hope you're doing super well. This is the Autistic Mystic, and this is going to be a reading for the week of March 13th to the 19th, 2023. So in this reading, Scorpio, we're going to take a look at your overall general energy for this week. We're going to take a look at some things you may not see coming, and we're also going to get some advice from your angels and spirit guides and much more regarding this week for you, Scorpio. But before we begin this reading, as always, I do want to take a moment to let you know that you are very welcome here in this space with me as we move through this reading, and I really do appreciate you in advance for taking the time to check this reading out. Now, if this general reading happens to resonate with you, Scorpio, definitely smash that like button, subscribe down below if you have not already for future updates. I would also really appreciate that, Scorpio. But without further ado, I am now going to pull the energy and we will see what it is that wants to come through for you this week, Scorpio. As always, I would like to thank the angels, the interdimensional beings, and the spirit guides who are overseeing this act of divination for the sign of Scorpio. See what we got here for you, Scorpio. I feel like something that you gave up on may be coming around. First message that I'm getting here, Scorpio, is like something that you once thought it was over. You once thought like something here, Scorpio, is coming back around in your life. What that is, we'll see. But let's start this reading off for you with some pre-shuffled oracle cards from the universe. What frequency do you need more of? What frequency do you need to embody for this upcoming week for your highest good? The first energy you have is financial freedom. Okay, Scorpio, so financial freedom, working on any way to increase your finances would be very good for you this week is what the universe is saying here. So I always say, like, the best thing about having money is not thinking about money. You know what I mean? And money is a weird game to get around your belt because of all the cultural hypnosis that we're put in. You know what I mean? Like, many of us have negative beliefs around money, and you may be looking at that this week. So financial freedom, looking at that. Now, we also have logic in reverse. So what frequency do you need more of here, Scorpio? Logic in reverse. So take your feet off the earth, okay? Nothing bad is going to happen to you. You can afford to take some sort of risk this week, and because you have financial freedom and logic in reverse here, Scorpio, there's something coming from a deeper place, your heart, that, once again, that's could even be what this is about, something you gave up on, some sort of dream, some sort of pursuit. I really feel like you never really gave yourself a chance, and it could have to do with money. I always say, like, in the information age that we're living in, anything is possible to monetize. If you're into anything, you can do it, Scorpio. So just be aware of that. And there's also something about like going your own way, because I'll show you your opportunity, but I don't know, Scorpio. It just seems like there's some sort of new money path for you, which is very exciting. You know, I'd always say as well, like, don't be afraid to make money. Don't be afraid to lose money. It's just energy. It's flowing, you know. You also have potential. So this card, what you need more of is to activate your own potential here, Scorpio. So with this energy, you have a lot of potential, potentially even to create a new career path for yourself, but you need logic in reverse in order to activate your potential. So this is some sort of bravery. You know, this is like with financial freedom and logic in reverse. This is like, tell me what the teacher teach about. Tell me what the preacher preach about. I'ma go find me a better route. That bullshit and Cap, you could leave it out, Cap. You know what I mean? So it's like, and the reason why I just did that rap for you, I think about 50% of you could understand it. here we go with your opportunity. Your opportunity this week is the Hierophant in reverse here, Scorpio. So there's some sort of thing about you going against tradition as your opportunity. The Hierophant upright is usually all about some sort of ritualistic practice that you have going in your life. This could be an institution that you're attached to, you no longer want to be around. Hierophant in reverse, I always say, like, I'd be very hesitant, like, listen, of course you want to take advice from people who have made it in life, or you can get advice from anyone, but what I'm saying is, like, be careful. I'm careful about taking advice from anyone above the age of, like, 30, because usually at the age of 30, you stop adjusting your mental models to how the world works. So something about, like, don't take the advice of your elders on the head. You also have the Chariot as your challenge. So the Chariot has to do with your willpower, Scorpio. Now, here's the other thing that's coming through. It may be very hard for you to choose something where you're going to willingly suffer. Now, this is a very big message. I hope you're paying attention, Scorpio. With the card potential here, you need to find the thing that because many of us have potential in multiple different things. For me, besides even tarot, I was a surfer growing up. I still love to surf for fun as a hobby. But what I realized is, like, did I have a lot of potential to be a surfer? Yes. But kind of like, paddling in a giant storm and, like, getting beat by the waves, being freezing, having water shot up my nose, the pain of that potential wasn't really worth it for me to become like a world-class surfer. Now, the pain for me to do tarot for like 10 hours a day at one point and just basically, like, lose my mind. Being autistic, I can do the same thing over and over and over again. That's why when I do this introduction, it's like I say the same thing. I listen to about 10 songs on repeat, like the same. So I found something with tarot. It's very repetitive, but each sequence is different. You'll never see a sequence. But basically what I'm trying to say to you is, like, there's two pains that we need to face in this life, Scorpio. There's two pains. You can either face on the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. But it's really important for you to find the thing that is actually worth it for you to suffer to make it. For me, it could have been surfing. It's not surfing. It was actually more of being a spiritual teacher and a tarot. Is there a lot of suffering in that? Yeah. Believe me, if you try to become some sort of, like, spiritual teacher, the universe is going to start throwing you lessons. But whatever you do, it's something about, like, what is worth the suffering? Because suffering is often where we find our liberation anyway. If there's no suffering, there's no growth usually. So just be aware of that. There's something have strong potential in. So when it comes to your overall general energy here, Scorpio, for this week, you have the Three of Wands, you have the Knight of Wands, and you also have the Six of Swords here. And it's a weird message, but, like, this Knight of Wands is going back. Like, it may look like it's going forward for you in this reading, but it's actually going back to the Three of Wands here. So there's some sort of vision that you had for yourself as a child. It could have been a vision that you had a few years ago, but you deemed it to be a little bit too crazy, like logic in reverse. Like, it's not very logical for you to follow this path here, Scorpio. But like, logic can only get you so far. If you want to achieve, like, unusual goals require unusual methods to achieve them. And so I'm just getting there's some sort of unusual method that you need to do. People may not understand it. You know what I mean? It could be things like back, like, 4, 5, 6 years ago, I would have my mom, when I was broke, just drop me off at, like, Barnes & Noble, and I would just sit in Barnes & Noble and read 12 hours a day, and she'd pick me up and she'd be like, what's wrong with you? Like, what did you do today? And I was like, oh, I just, like, meditated and I read spiritual texts like a psycho because I know, and I'm holding this vision of where I'm going in my mind. And she's like, so you did nothing today? And I'm like, no, I actually did everything today. She's like, oh, okay, so you did nothing today. I'm like, to the Hierophant, yeah, I did nothing. To me, I did everything. So it's like, it's just like something about a radical individual path is opening up for you here. Some of you could be traveling this week as well, but your intuition is screaming something at you. It's not going to be easy though, Scorpio. When it comes to, there's a message here about, like, you're not too old to do this as well. You know what I mean? Like, for some of you, the frequency I'm getting is, like, you think that you've outgrown this dream, or it's just not possible, or you're too old. These are all excuses that crop up here, Scorpio. I'd be very careful about listening to them. When it comes to what you don't see coming, you have the Strength card, you have the King of Swords, and you also have the High Priestess. Whatever intuitive hit that you're getting about the direction that you need to move in here, it's coming through very strong this week, Scorpio. You need to have the discipline to really ground those ideas, okay? Like really just knowing, I don't know where this is leading me, but this is where I have to go. The Strength card is also about moving through a difficult situation with grace. And this whole reading, there's something about like willingly placing yourself in a difficult situation when it comes to potential. Once again, finding the things that like, okay, this suffering is worth it. Because when you find those things that it's actually worth it for you to suffer through to achieve some sort of attainment or some sort of like success, there are all these virtues in you that you didn't even know existed that you'll be introduced to. It's kind of like, there's many stories, Scorpio, of like a mother who her child is trapped underneath a car, and all of a sudden, like this is like documented, like a 120-pound woman literally like picks up a car and defies what we know to be possible as human beings through physics and like think like that should be physically impossible for her to lift it up. It's documented, it happened. And so that's what the Strength card is all about. Like when you like push yourself to a new level, you kind of break away from some sort of tradition, right? Like imagine that woman, her child was underneath the car. Imagine that woman was like, oh, well, we need to call the authorities today. Like, let's call her child would be dead. Her child would be dead and we wouldn't be telling this story. So it's like, don't wait for anyone to come to rescue you. And when you kind of do that, like you have all these superhuman things that can be activated within you. But it has to do with a decision that you need to make. And when it comes to your advice here, Scorpio, I really feel like there's something bothering you from the past that isn't going away because it's not meant to go away. You have the Nine of Wands, you have the Emperor, and you also have the Ten of Swords here when it comes to your advice. I don't know why I'm getting this message of back into your past. Like, your salvation, Scorpio, I'm telling you, it's not something that a new activity that you're going to do. It's not a new business model. Whatever it is that you're meant to do this week to build out your future, you've already been brooding on it. You've been thinking about it for a long time, and it's really coming up for you. Once again, you have the synonymous message of like your intuition is screaming at you something nasty. Your intuition. And then you have this, like the Emperor and the King of Swords here to ground it. So now you do have the Ten of Swords here, so there may be something that you need to give up in order to make this dream happen. There may be something that you need to let go of in order to actually start using your willpower. And this could be some, like habits, like bad habits die hard. There are certain things, I mean, like even when I was on YouTube, there's just certain things that I was so strict with myself because it helped me. I don't know. Let's go ahead and get into this reading though and see what's going on here. All right, let's see why the Hierophant in reverse is here. Why is the Hierophant in reverse here, Scorpio? I just feel like, okay, hold on. To my teachers that said I wouldn't make it here, I ask you, hey, what you make a year? That's like the frequency of this reading is like bucking tradition, going your own way. The story of like Gatsby right now. Why is the Hierophant here? Oh. The Hierophant in your opportunity is clarified by the World. By the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands is also in your... There's something about hyping yourself up. Like, I mean, really. So, the Hierophant in reverse here, Scorpio, is clarified by the Knight of Wands, the World, and also the Three of Wands. The Three of Cups here, excuse me. Some of you are going to do this with people. Like, some of you want to create a band or somehow, like, in order to separate yourself from some sort of, like, traditional mastermind, an institution, a certain way of thinking. A lot of you think, oh, this doesn't really apply to me. It's your way of thinking. The Hierophant is like social conditioning, cultural conditioning has a grip on you. What I'm getting from this is a few different things. Number one is you're meant to transcend it. You're meant for an upgrade here, Scorpio, but somehow it's going to involve another person. The Three of Cups is like somehow your friends may be involved in this, creating a mastermind. Here's the thing, Scorpio, like, I really think there's something about you maybe not doing this completely alone. So I would say, like, look at the people who are good at what you want to do and, like, align yourself with them. Many of you don't know, I was an assistant to a YouTuber called Aaron Dowdy for a year and a half. I basically worked for him for free, and I was just like, yo, tell me about YouTube. Like, tell me how to get good at video, and I learned everything in the backstory. So there could be something about that. Now, you also have the Knight of Wands in your opportunity. I just think it's interesting because it's also here in your overall general energy. And what this is telling me is, like, there's an opportunity for you to, like, talk yourself against a wall, and then you're going to like, so... The Knight of Wands generally is a frequency that's very in and out. It's a very confident energy, so make sure you have confidence in whatever it is that you're doing. But it's almost an energy, Scorpio, of like, sorry, I feel like I'm not translating it just directly. I'm like running in circles, but I'm just getting it and it's hard to like bring it down. But what I'm getting is like you basically talking crap to put yourself in a precarious situation so that basically it's like you succeed or you die. Like, get rich or die trying. So for me, what helped me was like actually talking crap to all my family members about like what I was going to do with my life. Like when my mother was like, you got to stay in college, you got to be, you know, you can't do what you're saying you're going to do. Like, they were all laughing. Many people who were like laughing at me when I like made the mistake of telling them all my dreams, like I started talking crap, like big time. I was like, yeah, like you think you know me? Like you think you know my potential? Yeah. Like, yo, like I'm different than every one of you. Like I'm going to destroy every single one of you. And my life will be the proof that dreams are possible. And so was that a little bit immature? Was that necessary? No, but at that point in my life, like sometimes you need that little, it's like if you don't have an enemy, create one. You know what I mean? Like, cause it's like, I just get the, cause especially as a Scorpio, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, you're ruled by Mars. Aries, my sign, ruled by Mars. So because we're both ruled by Mars, we're fighters. We need something to push up against, you know what I mean? So that could be creating that for you a little bit. Because the Knight of Wands is in your opportunity, I want to clarify why it's here in your Well, the Knight of Wands, I mean, okay, I don't know what's going on here, Scorpio, but it has to do with your destiny. It has to do with letting go of some sort of toxicity to GERP. The Knight of Wands is clarified by the Wheel of Fortune, the Tower, and also the Devil, and also the Ace of Wands. This has to do with some sort of new endeavor that you're going to be doing here, but it's surrounded by so many demons. Okay, what I'm getting from this is that, like, a lot of you tried this thing and you already failed. But failure is part of success. Success is not, see, in school, in a traditional hierophant structure, we're all taught that like failure is completely different than success. But in truth, in like the business world, and when you get out of like some sort of like conditioning world, failure is part of success. So what could have happened with many of you is like you tried something, it didn't work, so you didn't try the next thing, or you didn't double down and try it again. You know what I mean? So as long as you don't give up, like never give up. You know what I mean? Like, people sometimes, like, okay, I'm getting a really big message right now about, like, there's a certain attitude that has been encoded to you that's like, yo, you either have it or you don't. You know what I mean? It's like you either, like for me, for example, like you can either be a great tarot reader or like you suck and you can't do it. But that's what we call the fixed mindset, where like what you want to do instead, what's more beneficial is having a growth mindset. Realizing like I may suck today, but you know what? If I show up every day, if I'm disciplined, if I outwork certain people, I'm going to be better than them. I don't care how much potential they have. And that's why the Chariot is here in your challenge. Willpower. You know, a lot of you are making all these mental models about why you shouldn't activate your willpower, why you shouldn't get aggressive, why you shouldn't just remember, what you don't see coming, the Strength card, is also about merging your higher self with your animalistic self, right? We cannot forget this. Like, you need an ego in this reality. Some of you also are very afraid that like you're going to be a bad person for doing this or something like that. Okay, but I don't know. Let's go ahead and see why the Chariot is your challenge. Yeah, I'm telling you. Something to do with your past. Something to do right off the bat, the Chariot in your challenge is clarified with the Six of Cups in reverse and also the Seven of Cups. Six of Cups has to do with your past. It has to do with something that you already invested in, that you feel like there could have been something that you felt like you gave it your all already. Now, for those of you who've never done this already, it's just about like letting go of some sort of tradition, right? The Six of Cups can represent some sort of past tradition, like other people's opinions of you holding you back, some sort of cultural conditioning even. So with that being said, I just want to get some advice for you. I want to get some advice to you because I feel like this is really important. Let's see why is the Emperor here as your advice. Remember, you also have the King of Swords here, and so I feel like there's a lot of clarity coming into your life. Like, there really is. There's a lot of clarity coming into your life. There really is, clarified by the Ace of Swords. So, hold on. The Emperor is clarified by the Ace of Swords, the Three of Swords, and also the Ten of Swords. Is really interesting because the Ten of Swords is also here in your advice here, Scorpio. So for a lot of you here, when it comes to the advice, there's something very painful that you're going to have to let go in order to achieve this financial freedom and activate your own potential and get out of the logical mind. You know, with this energy as well here, Scorpio, the Ten of Swords and the Three of Swords here, there's something here, once again, it keeps coming up, that you're telling me, Mystic, I already tried this. There's already people that outperformed me. I don't measure up to the competition. And that sounds like an excuse to me. You know, it just sounds like you're giving yourself an excuse to not even try. Remember, Scorpio, whenever you have this card, potential here, like, you need to show up to activate your potential. It doesn't just, like the universe just doesn't give you things. And so this is a deep transformation that's happening in your life. I also just, let's see why the Ten of Swords is here since it came out. What needs to come to an end, or what is this Ten of Swords about for you when it comes to your advice? Ten of Swords in your advice is clarified by the Queen of Cups, the Eight of Cups, and also the Ace of Pentacles here, Scorpio. This is about loving yourself, giving yourself self-love here. This also could be, okay, for some of you, there's a loved one that you're going to need to walk away from in order to create this, whatever your potential is. There may be some sort of overbearing. It could have to do with the Hierophant figure, some sort of love commitment that you're in. You may need to let go of it for a period of time, or just tell them, hey, I'm going to prioritize my career rather than love for now. But for others of you, this has to do with, the message has kept repeating this whole entire reading. There's something that you tried, you didn't do good at it, or you didn't measure up to the competition, or you didn't really give it your all. You're meant to try it again. Like, you're meant to try it one more time with the Ace of Pentacles here, or maybe 10 more times, you know what I mean? Like, once again, there's some sort of gritty attitude here. There's some sort of attitude, but it has to do with logic in reverse, though, because there's something about your logical mind is telling you it's impossible. It's impossible, you know what I mean? So with that being said, I feel like you need that, something to push against will propel you forward for many of you with that Devil Tower, Wheel of Fortune there with the Knight of Wands. So don't be afraid to talk a little crap, you know, motivate yourself. There's something about like unleashing the fire this week for you, Scorpio. So with that being said, I hope that this provided you clarity and insight, and I'll talk to you next time. It's the Autistic Mystic.